Hello, Ben.
Hello.
Hello, how's it going?
Good. Did you just fart?
How could you tell?
You told me.
He's got no nose. We need 180
Yeah,
grand.
we're
Okay.
trucking.
Yeah, we're trucking. We need 180 grand. We're
Hmm.
50 away. So we are getting there.
Well, speaking of money,
Yeah?
just very quickly, I got my. You may remember I had a bit of a saga trying to get monetized on YouTube
Ah, yes.
because I had an Irish passport and YouTube is racist, allegedly. Um, which because it's different from the country I'm living in,
No.
I'm registered in, it wouldn't accept it. So to get a citizen card, well, that arrived today,
Oh,
and
lovely.
I uploaded it to YouTube, and I've just checked my account. I am now a YouTube partner. I've currently earned £8.24. The minimum payment is 60 quid.
You're getting there
So
then.
yeah, I'm I'm gonna do some work on this next video then.
Yeah,
So
you need to get it done, son.
I will do.
Oh, we're gonna
I
we're
think
gonna take a different route. We're going
early
this
to
way.
mid July seems a fair release date.
Yeah, well,
I'll probably do some work on it.
that's when the new political DLC drops that we're all getting.
What?
The new
Oh,
political
that.
DLC.
Yeah. Hmm.
It's a fun way of referring to the election now.
Hmm.
It's official. That's how you have to refer to it.
All right.
Oh, a DAF. Hello, a DAF.
Daff.
Yeah, DAF. DAF. It's a type of. It's a truck manufacturing group.
Um. Well, would you like a couple of topics?
If you want.
Well, I've got some TV news.
Have you really?
One show I really like is coming back, and one show I really like is finished. Now,
Is one of these inside number 9?
yes, it is. We'll get to it. House of the Dragon is coming
Yes.
back. Series 2 starts on Sunday. I figured out how to watch it. I need to get something called Now TV.
I have. I have Now TV.
It should do me alright. It's yet another subscription, so fun.
I have it for
Um,
the sports. I watch Formula One on it.
hmm. But there's been a bit of controversy because there's been some leaks. And I don't know if you've ever read Fire and Blood. I don't think you have.
Is that the one that's got the dragon fight in the middle of it?
It's the history book
I have got
of
that, but I've got it. I've read it. I own it.
All right. So one of the issues people have pointed out is that Alicent, who is the Queen Mother by this point, and Christian Cole, who is one of the um, Kingsguard, the head of the Kingsguard, he are lovers in the TV version, and
Okay.
people are annoyed because this isn't in the book. Um, Another major thing, blood and cheese, is apparently that instant has been significantly altered. Do you know what blood and cheese is?
Not off the top of my head. I've not read the book for a few years.
Blood and cheese, very short version. Um, One political faction kills a child of the other political faction, so said political faction sends assassins to kill one of their kids, essentially.
Quid pro quo.
Uh,
I
yes, but
endorse
it
it.
plays out very differently in the show. Apparently, they're looking for the guy who killed the kid and just sort of stumble into the wrong bedroom or some make the most of this. They can't find him, so like, all right, next best thing. Um, which I sort of think is missing the point entirely, because Fire and Blood. One of the reasons I like it is that there is no omniscient narrator. Uh, we don't know for sure what happened. This is put together through sources, a lot of which are very unreliable. Um, it's an inspiration for my own writing project. Uh, well,
This is a writing project that you've been working on this week.
yes.
Okay.
Um,
Just because I've had some involvement in that now.
yes, you have. We'll talk about that.
We don't have
Because
to. I deliberately didn't mention it because.
no, I completely forgot, to be honest, but we will talk about it. I'm thankful. Yes, one of the things that you have to do if you're adapting that is you have to decide where the truth is. And it occurred to me, thinking back, that what are our sources for that incident? Because they've got like, for some reason that book tells us what Blood and Cheese said and how this went down and what people thought, but you can't know that. Seems more
No.
reasonable that it is just speculation and rumor, and you know what history's like with stories like this. They get twisted and changed, and it's all too easy to see how you got from the truth that is presented in the show to what's presented in the book. So I'm completely fine with them changing stuff up. I have a few problems with the Kristen Cole Allison relationship, but only because I really like what they did with that character. In the book, he's really more of just like he's just the Kingsmaker. He's just an asshole. But in the book, he's got more of a tragic bent to him, of a guy who's come from nothing and all his life he's wanted to be a knight and exemplify those values, and then he ends up sleeping with the princess.
Well,
And he's angry at, he resents her and himself for, sullying the only good thing he's ever really done in his life. This thing he's wanted, and he's broken his vows.
Vows are made to be broken.
Yeah, it makes his death. It brings a whole different bent to his death. Because, spoiler alert, there's a battle and his side loses, and he's captured and he demands a trial by combat. 3 versus 1, and the opposing commander just says, I won't have people singing songs about you. There's thousands of dead on your account, and he just has him shot full of arrows. And if I'm reading that, you do sort of think, okay, this is his attempt, just a braggadocious attempt to get out of it. But judging by the character in the TV show, it seems like it's more of a last-ditch attempt to have some honour and be an exemplar of knighthood, and he's denied that and dies in a pretty brutal, crude way, which I think is a really good choice. Yes. So I like House of the Dragon, and I think a lot of fans are really stupid in general, because a lot of people are really stupid. Which sort of brings me on to Inside Number 9 rather nicely.
Oh yeah.
So Inside Number 9 had its final episode yesterday.
Okay. How did that go?
Well, I really liked it.
Was it what you were expecting?
No, I was wrong, but I'm fine with that because my idea was pretty shit. The premise was it was at the wrap party for the series, and starred actors who had been in previous episodes as themselves. And it was chock full of references to episodes, and it was full of, love for what they had done, and there was lots of references to the bus episode that never was. And, I really liked it. I liked it. It was a really, really good sort of pitch-perfect finale for me. I don't think it was a great episode in and of itself. It sort of reminds you a bit of the TNG finale, All Good Things, where it's sort of the perfect ending for that show, but as an episode, it's good.
Yeah, no, I get you.
It was a great ending as far as I'm concerned. Now they ended this with a sort of joke where they brought back on the buses. No, I'm not going to bore you to death more than I already have, but there was a lot of speculation that we're going to do a bus episode. Why don't you set one on a number 9 bus? To which Reece Smith's reply was, "Okay, cunt, what happens?" Which nobody could really answer. But they didn't do that. They tricked us into thinking it was going to happen and did something else instead. But even then, people were saying, secretly, we're going to get a bus episode. And it ends with a joke where they decide to remake On the Buses. And of course, Reddit was full of people going, "I don't get it. Are we going to get? Are we getting the bus episode then? Is this a teaser for the bus episode?" It's just like, for fuck's sake.
Some people be so stupid.
But a lot of people just didn't like it because I think they wanted. I think there's a lot of people who just watched Inside Number 9 because it was like dark twist good. But the show was far more interesting than that. One of the things I really like about it is that you get the impression sometimes that there are episodes that only exist because Reece Smith and Steve Pemberton go, "I wonder if we could do this. I wonder if we could do an episode that's basically entirely without dialogue, or in iambic pentameter, or an episode that is like entirely composed of flashbacks."
From what I've seen of Steve Pemberton through his time on Taskmaster, He strikes me as being both intelligent and fucking mental.
Yes, it's a good combination. He is very clever. He does cryptic crossword stuff,
Yeah,
which they incorporate it into an episode.
he used some crossword stuff as some of his prize tasks.
Yes, I heard about that. He's quite brilliant. Who won that series?
John?
All right, I think I know what you mean.
I think his
Yes.
name's John. He, to be fair, he fucking earned it. He was well ahead, nearly 200 points at the end of the season.
Mm.
You know, and you know, you could see how clever he was and how he was someone who went into it understanding the format of the show, which you don't always get, do you? Like when Julian Clary went on, I wasn't 100% sure he'd ever heard of the show before.
Well, I love Julian Clary.
Yeah.
But yes, inside number 9. I don't think all the episodes are brilliant, but I think generally speaking, there's only a couple there's only one I actively dislike because it does the whole split personality shit, which I've never liked as a trope. I always think it's a bit lazy. And another one which was basically an episode of Psychoville, which don't really count. Generally speaking, the worst that can be said for a lot of these episodes is that they're just really solid, but on the whole, don't quite hit A-star quality. But there are some that do hit A-star quality. And I've always liked the idea of being able to sit down with somebody and go through my episodes, all the episodes, and talk about them and rank them. But I don't have anybody to do that with, which is sad.
I feel bad for you, man.
Yeah. I'd like to do it for this channel, but I need somebody who is interested and wants to do it as a separate video, and they don't like doing that, so I don't want to.
Do it as a tier video.
No.
I mean, I don't care if you do it or not. It's up to you, isn't it?
We'll see. I'd like to. But yeah, it's easily one of my favourite TV shows of all time.
There we go.
I liked it a lot, and I'm sad it's over, but I'm glad they're cutting it at its peak, sort of.
I've got
it never really. It never felt like it was. It felt very consistent throughout, generally speaking. I think there were a couple of series towards like 5 and 6 maybe, where it sort of had weaker episodes. I can't really remember. I know there was one season where basically every episode I thought was meh. But it picks up, and even though there were a couple of episodes in this most recent series I liked. I liked the one on the train. I liked the one in the escape room. So yeah, a good mix. I suppose I'll make this quick. One of the only real issues I have with Inside Number 9 is that you could basically call it Tales of the Unexpected, because there's not really much. Most of the premise is every episode is inside a new number 9, but it's almost always a house.
Well, it's the easiest one to do, isn't it?
Well, yeah, I mean, they never really. It seems like they needed a sort of unique selling point for it, in that it was fully bottle episodes, which is great. But they never really explored that too much. I kept waiting for them to do a prison cell one.
Should have never happened then.
Sorry?
That didn't happen then.
No. Yeah, one thing suggesting a location, there's another thing suggesting a plot. But hey ho, I did like it. I liked it a lot. One of my favourite shows. So yes, goodbye Inside Number 9. I hope they do another Insider's Guide to Inside Number 9, because I'd love that. But yeah.
Are we? Obviously, we've got Doctor Who this weekend.
Doctor Who, yeah.
And we have only got 2 episodes left of the series.
Yes.
Is it a 2-parter? That's right. Hang on, I know it's a 2-parter. Is it? Are they both this weekend?
I don't believe so.
Could you? Is there any way you could double check whilst we're doing this?
I will double check at this very moment.
And the reason I ask this, and the only reason I question it at all, is because I understand that they're both being screened in cinemas. And it seems odd to me that they would be doing that if they weren't both on at the same time. Not at the same time, but you know what I mean.
Let's have a look. See.
So I just thought. No. Okay. Fair enough.
No, there's only one.
Because I looked at the TV guide and it looked like there was only one, but
That Doctor Who Unleashed is on really bloody late. It's at 12:30 every fucking week.
Is it not on iPlayer?
Probably, yeah. It was a weird place to stick in the schedule. I suppose the schedules don't mean too much. Yeah. Yeah, we'll. I mean, we'll. Yeah, the thought did cross my mind that we could wait and do them both in one video.
That's not. That's not, because
No.
we'll have too
We'll
much
only
to say.
forget. We'll just do it. Yeah. Yes. Last 2 episodes of this season.
Well,
And we'll discuss how we feel about the season overall as well.
I know we went over it, and I don't want to dwell on it too much because I know you get a bit iffy about us doing Doctor Who during our normal videos. But I have slightly renewed hope after last episode.
I'm fine with us discussing it whenever, really.
You took issue with it last week.
No, well, maybe a little bit. Well, I think it was more what you were saying. You were getting your anti-woke on, weren't you?
No, I am. Last episode was for me the best of the series. I know you had. It wasn't that strong an episode. For I mean, you didn't. It didn't grip you the same way it gripped me.
It was a personal thing. I've no major flaw with it that I can really think of.
So I am slightly hopeful towards the next episode, which is not something I've been able to say for a few weeks. Yeah, but we don't have to delve any further. I just wanted to check.
No, I'm fine. We can delve a little further if you like. I'm hopeful. Would you like any degree of spoiler?
No.
Okay.
I know what it's called. I have managed to avoid spoilers all fucking season.
That's fine. If you don't, that's fine.
All I've watched is the teasers from the end of the episodes, which is perfectly fine because that is the thing I specifically said for you to watch in an attempt to try and encourage you to watch it again, right? So that doesn't count as spoiler to me. Anything beyond that is spoiler.
Yeah, I mean, I like. Hang on, I'm just writing tits are flapping, so I don't forget. Yeah, I liked a lot of the. Well, I mean, watch the videos. I liked 43 yards, 73 yards. I liked Dot and Bubble. I thought Rogue essentially good. Just didn't quite work for me. I'll be interested. It's one thing commenting on individual episodes, but I think my feelings on the series as a whole are going to be different because I don't really think you need filler episodes. But we'll get to that. We'll get to it. It'll probably be its own little thing, maybe. I don't know how I'm going to play it. Figure it out.
And I'll just be sat there talking away because that's my contribution to the whole thing.
Yeah, well, I do.
That and the pictures.
Yeah.
I get the pictures, and you're very thankful for it, bitch.
I am.
Yeah, actually, I make a point of waiting until you finish watching it before I send those pictures. And the off chance that those pictures are a spoiler.
I know. It's very good of you.
Yeah. I'm a considerate individual. I watch it. Typically speaking, I start about 10-15 minutes before it goes live on the terrestrial telly.
Why? Just that's when you have the time?
Well, because if I start watching 5-10 minutes, 15 minutes before, I've got time to get through it, watch the videos, and sort the pictures out, and then be ready for when you're ready. Cool. I specifically base it around the fact that I'm expecting you to be ready shortly after it's done.
But it's not been your only contribution this week, has it?
I don't know, why?
Well, I mean, my writing project, as you rightly pointed out.
Yes, I contributed to your writing project this week.
Yes, I wanted to insert a fun sort of what's the right phrase? Mutty character in a relevant.
So you turn to the best person you know for this.
So I thought Jordan will like this because he likes coming up with this sort of thing. And I came up with a little, but I let you come up with the name of the character, which was
Tits are Flappin'.
Yes, which has made me chuckle all throughout the week.
It genuinely was a character name I used in Conan Exiles for video game, and most recently I've started a third run on Baldur's Gate 3 this week as an evil character. Or attempting to be evil, and I went with Tits are Flappin' for them as well because after our conversation I thought fuck it, I might as well go with that, and I then promptly ended up having a sex scene where there was many tits involved, so tits were indeed a flappin'.
Yes, I made them a drag Queen. Because, I mean, there's a Mary Whitehouse style character, and I wanted a wider scope of her sort of outrage, so I included that as a little vignette of sort of the cultural scene at the time, as well as what she's against. I gave her a little Pomeranian called Fuckpig.
Yes, you did. Oh shit!
Yeah, and I sort of made her a Mae West style figure as well.
Did you use those story titles?
Yes, I did. Yeah. Yes.
Genuinely, one of them. I can't remember what they all were now, but one of them that I remember was definitely used as a caption title at one point. One of a few female-oriented caption titles. Because I mean, most of my audience for the captions are and were men like to not be in control of things. Whereas the implication of that particular title is that the female presenting figure is not in control of the situation. So, although of course within a healthy BDSM situation, everyone's in control, because that's the only way to do it safely.
Yeah.
People, I nearly said kids there, but not kids, grown-ups, consenting and aware grown-ups that understand what they're getting into.
Well, I did ask you for a sort of a burlesque sort of dirty stage act type thing as well.
Yeah.
But it was that, that was you couldn't really come up with anything, and I couldn't really come up with anything. But I did find something in the end that sort of worked. Sort of simulated sex with animals to a children's song. I sort of imagine it speeding up like a modern Major General type thing, and there's lots of physical
Nelly
comedy
the
involved.
elephant rode a trunk.
Yes, that sort of thing. And she's frantically jumping from position to position, and it's very amusing. Yeah.
I'm sure it probably would be for some people.
I'm very proud of what I've done. I've got a lovely turn of phrase in certain places. So yes, I hope to have it finished this year. I'm planning on writing another 3, or I've got basically draft versions of another 3 volumes. So I'm hoping to get that done, and then I've got an extra little thing set in the same world that I want to get done, hopefully by the end of this decade of my life, not, the 20s.
Well, I mean, it's only just started, so...
Yeah, I've got 10 years and 4 books to write, so...
In the words of the Carpenters, it's only just begun.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Karen Carpenter has the best voice of any woman.
Really?
Yes.
Fair enough.
It's like pitch perfect. It's smooth.
It's been a long time since I've heard Karen Carpenter sing. And you're not doing it justice.
I'm not singing. I'm humming.
I know, but you whatever you're going to do, you wouldn't be doing it justice. Would you like? And actually, funny enough, I've got a music-related topic.
A musical topic?
A music-related topic.
Okay. Go on then.
Who caused a bit of a rumble, or a bit of a tremor, if you will, recently up in Edinburgh?
Oh yes, I know this. Marvin Gaye.
No, not Marvin Gaye.
Who?
Taylor Swift fans.
Oh right, yeah, there's loads of them in there.
Apparently, during her concerts, they have been active enough to induce seismic activity being detected so many miles away. Like a 3 point something on the scale, I think it was. Particularly, there were 3 songs in particular that apparently had quite a lot of activity. But yeah, it's a big old thing, that, isn't it? That you can measure a concert's activity through earthquake measurements is remarkable to me. Yeah, that's it. Nothing else on that, unless you've got something.
Imagine being that famous. I don't think I'd like that.
I think for me, the pinnacle of success at concerts has to be when Queen did Rio. I think it was.
Oh, and they got like 1 million people doing the warm-ups with them or something.
No, it was when they had the crowd singing "Love of My Life," And all they needed was a guitar for timing, and that's it. The whole crowd just did the song, and like there's something truly brilliant about that, you know. You don't need when a band has got so big that technically speaking they don't even need to be there anymore, and the concert would be just fine. They could have walked off there and then, and it wouldn't have made that much difference. You know, I mean, you get it. You get there is obviously when in Wembley and in other places when they've had when Freddie would do his vocal warm ups, and you know it is a thing. And obviously in Glastonbury you'll have moments where they cut the mic and they let the crowd sing the bit, and it's such a powerful thing. But I think for me, Love of My Life was the one that really demonstrated it. Yeah. I need to find a place to park shortly. Is there parking there? There is. I'll do that one then. Oh, we're delivering liver paste to Malamo. I don't like liver. So from earthquakes to something a bit more out of this world.
Oh, like God, my God, you've been working on that, haven't you?
I haven't at all.
Really?
Genuinely.
God, he's a natural, isn't he?
I am a natural. You couldn't afford to pay me if I went pro. Who's had a bit of a boo-boo this over the last couple of days in terms of space stuff? Do you know?
Elon Musk.
No, actually, he's had a bit of success this last week. In that apparently one of his rockets did a soft water landing, which is impressive.
Bully for him.
But
I
no,
know there's NASA put out a thing that says there is no incident on the International Space Station.
That is the thing. Yeah, apparently they had accidentally somehow broadcast an emergency signal thing as part of a training process. It went through the official NASA YouTube saying that there was someone that had decompression sickness or something. I didn't read the full article. I just got the gist of it. And they've put out a message saying there's no problem, it's all fine. But yeah, that's a bit of a boo-boo, isn't it?
Certainly is. Yep.
This is what happens when you cut space travel funding, kids. This is why you need to vote for people that want us to successfully go to the stars, because let's face it, there's fuck all left on this planet for us.
Well, they're not gonna do anything. What I mean is that they're sort of fine with the private sector taking it over. You know?
Oh, it's cheaper for private sector to do it, which is ridiculous. It's cheaper to get to space if the private sector do it, whereas for the average individual, it would only become more expensive. You know, because that's the whole thing. If you're getting funding as a government agency, you need to spend that money, or you get less money, right? Whereas if you are a for-profit organisation, the key thing is to make as much money while spending as little as possible. So it's sort of the best thing for space travel, really, for it to be a private situation. I know it's bad for billionaires, wasting all this money on trying to get to space, but in terms of space travel itself, it's the best thing to do.
Well, yeah, I mean, if your only goal is getting up there, yeah, sure, but I mean, the fact is, I don't really want this new frontier being colonised by the super rich. You know?
Well, I mean, they'll only fuck it up and have to come back and,
It's like if you let private entrepreneurs lead the westward expansion in the early days of, the US. If those explorations into the Pacific Northwest and whatever were led by businessmen, all that land just sort of taken over. I'm not really explaining myself very well, but
I get the gist.
I don't think it's a thought. I don't know. I'm just getting ideas of capitalist hellscapes, much like this one.
I'm not entirely sure we're going to have space to park up here.
Do we? Well, you fucked that, didn't you? Oh, it's fine. They'll go round. Why don't you park long ways?
I don't know. Where else can we go that would be? Let's see if there's a space there for us. If I don't mark it on the map, I'll drive past it like an idiot. because we've got 2 trailers, you see.
Mm.
Doesn't help. And these are... I suppose there's probably space in there, wasn't there, in that one? But I didn't see that one. What's he doing?
What?
Why is I getting a crash offence? He crashed into me.
Well, one of you has to be responsible.
I had right of way.
I know, but he was coming. You should have let him.
No, he needed to stop. We'll be having words with the...
It's that mentality that causes crashes.
What country are we in? With
Holland.
Are we having words with the...
Denmark.
It's Germany, because we went past Hamburg. I will be having words with the German police force. Those Polizists are going to be having a sterner Sprachen.
This is how accidents happen, because you working on the correct assumption that it is his fault and therefore he ought to change his behaviour, so you refuse to do anything and let it happen. You know, somebody needed to be the mature adult.
I was travelling at speed. If I'd slowed down, I would have only ended up literally with stopping at the same place as he hit me anyway.
I doubt it. You should have tried.
No, it is entirely his fault.
Flying too.
I doubt it. This game is rigged against us. It doesn't want us to get that office upgrade so that we can have our own slave. I mean lackey. I mean driver. Imagine if we had a driver and we didn't have a loan to pay off. It would be pure profit then. All the profit they bring would be pure profit. Yeah. Yeah. Alright, well, have you got something you want to say?
I can do.
Go on then. Go on with it.
Well, we had some more Game of Thrones sort of news, House of the Dragon news. There's been some speculation recently.
I think I know about this, actually.
Yes, about Winds of Winter.
Yeah.
Maybe that's the same thing. Now, I follow a subreddit called FOMO.
Oh, okay.
I think.
Not the one I was thinking it was going to be.
What's the one you were thinking it was going to be?
A Song of Fire and Ice Circle Jerk.
Yeah, that's one of many I follow. But I saw a post on there that said that basically people, submit tips and rumours to this thing about celebrities. And somebody said that there was an author in New Mexico who was having a party to celebrate the release of his new book, at which there was a giant dragon cake.
Yes, this is the thing I saw.
Yes, now George R. Martin lives in New Mexico, and there's been a lot of speculation about Winds of Winter, which he's been working on for some time, and naturally this led to a lot of speculation that this was about Winds of Winter and George R. R. Martin. Other people have since come out and said it probably isn't, that this is likely tying in with the House of the Dragon Series 2 release. We shall see. I'm very skeptical. I don't think his heart's in it anymore. I don't think he really wants to continue it.
Well,
yeah.
I can relate to... Oh god, he's gonna crash into me!
Well, again, be fucking sensible.
No, it's fine, he slowed down. That would have been my fault. See, to be fair, it was a whole lane he could have got into before it was an issue. I'm having trouble finding a place where we can actually park up, and it's causing problems because we've got 2 trailers. You see, I don't know if you noticed these 2 trailers we've got. It means they're a bit bigger than the average bear.
See, I don't really begrudge him for giving up.
No, I don't. I can entirely relate to giving up on a project.
Because the fans are shit and just demanding that he finish this before he die.
Yeah.
I think the Game of Thrones finale probably threw him off a bit, because I imagine it's basically essentially what he's written, which I don't... I mean, the issue with that was execution rather than content.
No, of course. If it had been better delivered, it would probably not have gone down as badly as it did.
Well, yeah, it's the sort of thing you had to build up to, and he's got, Aegon the Usurper or Aegon the Pretender playing a part, so that it'd probably play out very differently, but I can see him getting sort of disillusioned with it. I think he's quite comfortable being involved in the TV shows and sort of riding out to retirement, to death, frankly, and good for him. I mean, although I would like a Fire and Blood Part 2. So if he can get a wiggle on with that. I'd be quite happy.
I couldn't really properly get into the books, to be honest. I tried. I just sort of, I can't remember which one it was that I gave up on, but I got through 2 of them, I think, and the third one I just don't know if that's indicative of everyone's experience with the series, is that they struggle through the third one, but
Which one's the third one? Let's have a look. Is it the Storm of Swords?
might be. I don't know, it's been a while.
Maybe you meant A Feast for Crow. Well, so you've got the War of the Five Kings, but then that sort of finishes book 3, what with the Red Wedding and then the sort of the Purple Wedding, and
I don't remember reading about the Red or Purple Wedding. So whether that's because they're in the end of that book, or because
I can't really remember. Then Feast for Crows is sort of setting up the next war.
Yes, we got some rest.
Yeah, I'd like a Fire and Blood Part 2 just to finish it off. I mean, he said he doesn't want anyone touching it after he's dead, but I can't imagine he's not going to have notebooks and whatever that aren't going to, I can see, I don't know whether he's got kids. Maybe they'll do a Tolkien thing with it where they just publish his notes.
Maybe.
And that'll do us. I don't know.
I read recently someone going further into how much of a fucking mess the Narnia books are compared to the Lord of the Rings books. Because obviously they were pals, weren't they, to an extent? They knew each other, C.S. Lewis and J.R. Tolkien.
Yeah, they were part of a writing set in Cambridge. And good chums.
And the ridiculousness in comparison between the content of their works and the level of detail and lore and all that kind of stuff that went into it. And don't get me wrong, I mean, obviously a lot of work went into the Narnia books, but they are a fucking hot mess compared to, well, they're just a hot mess,
Oh, well, Tolkien was obsessed with myth and lore and language and maps and everything. That was part of it was obsessive.
And C.S. Lewis had a thing for having a fun time at the right time.
Well, C.S. Lewis was about Christianity.
Well, I mean,
not Christianity.
But at the same time, here's a weird thing. The thing that I was watching or listening to or whatever speculated that because Aslan is the Christ figure, they don't have the typical Jesus Christ story, which means that Christmas has an entirely different, most likely purely commercial meaning. What with the existence of Santa Claus? And that was a bit of a proof.
It was probably just a general festival of goodwill and merriment and gift giving.
But again, Santa specifically exists.
Well, yeah, that's just when Santa is well, I mean, originally he's Saint Nicholas, isn't he? So there is a Christian tone to it. But in terms of the modern iteration of the character, it's well, I suppose it's about commercialism, but I think most people will sort of associate Santa with the spirit of Christmas rather than the religious spirit of Christmas.
Here's another question for you.
Yeah.
What exactly does the White Witch have against Christmas? Why does she hate Christmas so fucking much?
Why did she? I don't know. I've never read a Narnia book.
Well, the whole thing is that it's always winter but never Christmas before the kids turn up and save the day, right? Always winter, never Christmas. So, like, what has she got against Christmas?
Well, Christmas is a joyful thing, isn't it? And she's a wicked person.
Yeah, but you see, that's not how you subjugate a people, is it? You get them on board.
I think we're getting into what was Aragorn's tax policy, or Aragorn's tax... Aragorn.
Son of Aragorn.
What was Aragorn's tax policy? Which is George R.R. Martin's, I have to assume, tongue-in-cheek complaint about the Lord of the Rings. There wasn't a great deal of real politic involved. Like, there's still an awful lot of orcs about after the end of the books. Does Aragorn start a genocide?
Another one.
But Lord of the Rings is a myth.
Yeah, it's pre-Age of Man stuff.
Well, yeah, I mean Tolkien fucking loved Beowulf and the Odyssey and the stories of King Arthur, and he was annoyed that there is no English myth. there is no English equivalent of the Iliad or anything like that.
Wasn't there something about how he'd apparently been told these stories by fairies or something, or was that, am I mixing that up with someone else?
He might have made that up for his kids. I don't know.
Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, because it was initially wasn't that the reason the Hobbit got written down was because he told the story a few times slightly differently. And it's like fuck it, I'm going to write it down. So it's.
I remember hearing I remember hearing a story that he wrote like Christmas things for his kids, letters from Santa, and they ended up having this really expansive lore just because he couldn't help himself.
Well, you know. And thus was born Robbie the Reindeer.
Yes.
Do you remember Robbie the Reindeer?
Of the North Pole. No, I don't remember Robbie the Reindeer.
Robbie the Reindeer. Ardal O'Hanlon voiced him, and it was a cartoony thing, much like the Wallace and Gromit style stuff, in that they're a bit tongue-in-cheek and a bit ridiculous. And he's Rudolph's son, but he's his lazy son.
Right.
And Blitzer's still a bit salty about the whole Rudolph thing. And, yeah.
It does look vaguely familiar.
I think Craig Charles does a voice as well.
Did you say this was an almond?
I don't know if it's Aardman or not, but it's along. It looks the same. It feels the same.
No, it's not. Oh, hang on.
Nick Park is the bloke who does Wallace and Gromit.
Yeah, Aardman were involved in the early ones.
Yeah.
Gillian Anderson in it.
Yeah, I believe that.
Jean Alexander, who was famous for playing Hilda Ogden in Coronation Street.
But yeah, no, this was one of those weird Christmas traditions that we used to watch it, and you know, it's absurd, it's ridiculous, it's just, yeah, it's one of them things.
Do you remember My Hero?
I do, with also Ardal O'Hanlon and I always forget his name. Yes, someone. He was called Piers in it, wasn't he? And because of that, I always think his name's Piers.
And I remember there was a receptionist who was sort of grumpy and mean-spirited and conniving in a fun way. I remember there was an episode where she learned hypnosis.
Oh.
And she ended up hypnotising everybody who came to the doctor's surgeries. And then when they had a funeral or a church service, she'd set it up so that when you hear the number 1, you'll do this. So when they had the church service and he was listing like 5 things, as he listed them, people stood up and did things.
Ridiculous.
Which was amusing. There was something.
I remember there being a cricket episode, and they were teaching him how to play cricket. And after an over, I said, "Well, now that's over." And he said, "Thank God for that. I was getting bored." No, over, as in.
Well, yeah, it reminds me a bit of My Family.
Yeah, I see
which is a sitcom that was widely regarded as being terrible. I never really had much interest in it. I know that Zoe Wanamaker and the other guy, whose name I can't remember,
Robert Lindsay.
They both said it was complete shit, like repeatedly. But you know, it was repeat work and money.
Yeah.
So yeah, but it sort of. I wanted to raise this, but this topic has sort of reminded me of it. There was something else I wanted to say as well, when I've forgotten. Just about general TV shows that were really big and had a cultural impact that we don't really talk about anymore. Heroes came up for me recently. I watched a few videos charting the rise and fall of Heroes. Do you remember that? We were fucking obsessed with it.
Yeah, I want to watch it again now that it's done and out of the way, and that's it, you know. Because I remember the decline, and I remember stopping watching it.
I watched it all the way through, and then there was a revival that I had no interest in, but starred Henry Zabrowski, who's in Last Podcast on the Left, which I thought was pretty cool. But I never watched it. I
lost interest around about the time they were in the circus stuff happened.
That was the last of the main seasons. I think a lot of people.
I remember the bloke who was. I'm fairly sure he was in Prison Break as well. He could do something with tattoos.
Well, I think his power. Well, I know his power was that he could control Earth. It was telekinesis, but it was amplified when he was surrounded by other people with abilities.
Which explains all the people.
And he was going to destroy the planet or something. I yes, Heroes was pretty big, and then it sort of fell off. And I sort of wish they'd bring that concept back, because there's probably room for another show like that where it's just normal people who get superpowers, and how the fuck do you deal with this? And some of them go, how does the
Did
world deal with people like that?
Did you ever watch Misfits?
Yes, I did.
See, that was a very British take on that, I feel.
Yeah.
And again, that sort of lost its way a little bit. In fact, actually, Ramsay Bolton was in it, wasn't he?
He was. He played a very sweet, nerdy guy.
Who at one point wanted to piss on someone's tits. So, I don't think you can necessarily.
Which is a kind of a Ramsay Bolton thing to do, except
Well,
he'd cut your tits off first.
Yeah, but no, that's
Make
probably
you piss on him.
for shits and giggles, right?
Yes, that too.
But no, he I always felt like that was a very British take on the hero's formula, whilst being ridiculous at the same time, and a bit more grown up as well. I mean, it's more immature, but also more grown up at the same time because of the level of immaturity. Like, it was adult theme at the very least, whilst Heroes was just PG.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think there's something. I'd like to see him take another crack at it. This event happens where a very small percent of the population get powers, and we follow a few of them. And how do governments react to this? And how does society react to this? And that could be fun. Normal people having extraordinary powers.
That would work. That writing project that we did that didn't really go anywhere because no one else got involved in
it.
Yeah. It would work as that sort of thing.
Oh, what, like an anthology?
Yeah.
Type thing, do you mean? Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that wasn't. I mean, what we were writing wasn't really an anthology. It was based on on Naked Came the Stranger, which in the 70s or 80s, there was really shitty romance novels everywhere. So some publishing people at a dinner party decided, you know what, I reckon we can write something without even trying that will be a bestseller. And they each wrote a chapter each. And I think it was about a woman who was like recounting her sexual experiences or something like that. And lo and behold, it was a bestseller. So I thought, wouldn't it be interesting if we did something similar, where we each wrote a chapter in whatever style we like, and there's only a few. It was about an immortal, and you picked a time period, and the only caveat was that they couldn't die or like blow up the world or something.
Yeah.
And 3 of us gave a shit.
Yeah.
Which really pissed.
I've lost you. I lost you halfway through pissed. I heard that really pissed, and then I lost you for like 5 seconds, and then I heard spit off. Ben, are you there? Oh no, we've lost the Ben. Oh, I hope my internet's going again. Oh no, this is terrible because we're nearly at the end of the job. Oh, what do we do? Ben, are you there? Are you there, Ben? No, I've lost the Ben connection.
Hello?
Hello, you back?
Yeah.
Radio. Uh,
I'm assuming you're cutting that out.
yeah, I'd cut the thing. I paused to driving. I was like, oh no, I've lost Ben. So
Okay,
anyway,
well.
yeah. So you got pissed off by the fact that people.
Oh, yeah, I guess. Okay, we're not doing 3, 2, 1. You're quite.
Yeah, just let's just go straight through it. It's fine.
Okay, yes, I was pissed off that nobody got involved. I mean, it's always difficult getting people on board with stuff like that because it's a long-term commitment. But it's very annoying when people say, with the best will in the world, yes, I would absolutely love to be part of that, and then never do anything with it.
Yeah.
But hey ho, I mean, I've done it enough times, I'm sure.
I've still
I think
got the
I'm better than most.
I've still got the bit that I wrote.
I suspect mine's probably somewhere.
Birkenhead, I called mine because it was a blowjob joke, wasn't it? At the end.
Yes, it was very much a drunk old man recounting his life, wasn't it?
Yeah, sort of. The time he shagged that woman in the 60s, I think. I think it was Woodstock he'd gone to, or some sort of gig.
Mine was set in the 20s, and I started it with he's in Egypt. I thought, wouldn't it be funny if this person had lived, for billions of years, as was the plan, but was still a petty racist. And looking down on Egyptian builders, and he's there when they discover. He's the first person to go into the tomb of Tutankhamun, and he gets cursed, and it's presented in diary entries where he's constantly dying, and he goes to various witchcraft people and wizards and voodoo people and who else trying to get this thing removed, and they can't do it. So eventually he just gives up and goes and lives in a cave for a few years. Then one day he's approached by Anubis, who removes the curse because there's just no point. And he gets, if I remember correctly, he gets letters from all the people whose services he's gone to remove this curse and has refused to pay them because it hasn't done anything. So the implication is that they put a curse on him. He leaves, having discovered a vein of gold in the cave, invests it all in the stock market, and then the stock market crashes because of the curse, and he ends up back in the cave. And I was quite happy with that.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Then we had another guy who did a space thing.
Yeah, it played on the idea that if you live forever, all eventualities will eventually come to pass.
Yes.
In that he was stuck travelling, like, effectively deep frozen in space, wasn't he?
Yeah.
And eventually someone found him, because eventually, if you live long enough, or if you take long enough, that will happen, right?
Yeah.
All probabilities approach warm the longer they're waited for.
Yeah. I did feel bad for that guy. I do sort of wish, it had gone somewhere for him. We're very I certainly was very thankful he gave enough of a shit to fulfill the very minimal brief we gave him.
But, I mean, we've still got it. I mean, the server's still up.
Yeah, I mean, I could rattle off another one if we got a whole bunch of other people involved who wanted to do something.
You couldn't, because you've got too many other projects on the go at the moment.
Well, I could just dedicate an afternoon. I had an idea, because I took the prehistory one as well, didn't I?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, my idea was that it was... He had this petty bout with a T-Rex.
Yes.
And they just spent like a couple of months, fighting and trying to kill each other. And then the asteroid hits Earth, and that was basically the summation of the story. But, I think I told that one because nobody else really wanted to do it. I was fine with that.
The trouble with prehistory is that you got less to work with, haven't you?
Well, the difficulty I found was you know, how would this guy just? You can't really describe it from his point of view because he's not going to be speaking. He's not going to have an internal monologue because he's not going to understand language at that point.
No.
You know, so you have to.
Bunga bunga.
Yeah, you have to have a omniscient third person narrator. It would have been interesting. I would have liked to have it published and sorted. Another thing came up with at work like that, where a member of staff who's published several books suggested a short story compilation for charity.
Oh yeah.
And I was I was the only one who responded, and I know it's not going to go anywhere. I'm not going to mention it again because there's no point. Alas, I should like to write some prose because I'm not really very prosy a writer. I'd like to give it another go at a short story thing. But I don't think anybody would really be interested, and you sort of need a good amount of people to go forward with something like that, don't you?
Yeah, you do. I can't be asked to do another job tonight, so I suggest we call that.
That's a shame, because I've got one more thing I wanted to talk about, which tied in with another topic that we sort of got distracted from, but you'll have to wait until next time, I guess.
Yeah, you'll have to catch us on Thursday, or now if it's already been Thursday.
Bye.
Bye, everyone.